Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a great FPL season, and I hope you're ready and prepared for Gameweek 25, which is going to be a double game week, guys. So I guess we're going to have a pretty relaxed stream today, and that's what I've been anticipating. So let's get to it. So guys, I just want to talk quickly about my own team. I got 82 points last week was good. I mean, Haaland captaincy worked out well. Gabriel was a surprise 12-pointer. Saka 15-pointer. Jota a little bit underwhelming. I expected more from Jota, but overall it was pretty decent performance, I'd say. So this is all about my own team. Don't want to discuss too much further. Yes, I brought in Virgil van Dijk for a hit last week. That did not work, but I'm hoping that it will work this week. He has a double game week, and with the Trent injury, it seems that Virgil van Dijk is anyway, propping up to be the best option for the double game week. So alright guys, this is about my own team. Right now I'm just gonna take you to pick team so that we can let's start answering your questions real quickly. Hey Todd, hey Zara, hey Neil, welcome. Beautiful sunny Cape Town. Hey man, I absolutely love that. South Africa is a beautiful country. Guys, the thing is, first of all, before we get started and get into the nitties and gritties and specific transfers, I just like to say that before making your transfers this week, you need to keep an eye on Game Week 26. You need to keep an eye on Game Week 28, and you need to keep an eye on Game Week 29. You can't make your transfers in isolation. For example, yes, you want 6, 7, 8 double game week players for 25, but basically 2 of the teams which are doubling in 25 are blanking in 26, so that complicates things a little. The only teams which are doubling and not blanking are City and Brentford, so you need to kind of you need to weigh up your options before you make your transfers and before you make your decisions. Yes, you want like you want like more than 22 fixtures this week. You want 30. I can totally get. More than 22 fixtures. You want, not more than 22. You want 16, 17, 18 fixtures for your players. But it doesn't work out like that if you don't have a good playing team in 26. The upside of 25 will be taken away really quickly. So let's get to it, guys. Hey Todd, hey Neil, Zara, George, Sir Crocodile. So keep or sell Pedro Porro. If you're not free hitting in 29, I'd suggest you keep Pedro Porro. George says my team has been ruined by injuries. Man, that was unfortunate, especially for Trent owners. It has been, and Pedro Porro, of course. Too many injuries propping up at the wrong time when we actually need these players. Start Estupinan or Gabriel? I would start Gabriel, my friend. Haaland triple captain? Yep, for me I'm definitely gonna triple captain Haaland. I want to get this chip out of the way with maximum not maximum upside, I'd say, but limiting the downside, and I want to be secure with this chip that I've used it and I've got the points, because this time with a player such as powerful as Erling Haaland having a double game week and everybody putting the chip on Erling Haaland, you want your chip to act as a shield. Actually, for the past few seasons with Salah and now Haaland, this chip has actually become a shield more than a sword. Earlier it used to be a very tricky decision on who to put this chip on. Nowadays it's just everybody puts it on the same player in the same game week. It's as if it doesn't even make a difference whether you are having a triple captain chip in the game or not. That's what it has come to. Trent and Bernardo Silva out for Gabriel and KDB for a -8. Todd, actually I'd say if it was for a -4 it looks good to me. Even for a -8 I don't mind that. I'm only a little bit wary about KDB benching last week. Yes, he played in against Copenhagen in the Champions League. But you know, I'm not sure about Pep's roulette. If you're like you know, totally convinced that he's going to play both the games, then I think even -8 is not an issue. CAV says, hi Wiz, plan was to roll, still is, but Porro to Maguire is tempting. Starting Palmer over Stupinan, triple captain Haaland. Thoughts? CAV, I like the plan, to be honest with you. And I personally, I think I've been thinking about rolling as well. I still might, you know, I've got a transfer plan in mind. Either I'm gonna roll or I'm gonna go ahead with my transfer plan. There's not much between them, but the thing is, I might execute either of the two. With Porro to Maguire is tempting, but the only issue is Maguire doesn't have a fixture in 29, and that's the only issue. Otherwise, I think Maguire is a good pick. He has let me know if I'm back. Seems nothing is working. I've lost all my internets. I've tried connecting to like 2-3 internet connections, just not working. Please let me know if you can hear me, guys. Ah, man. This is insane. Today was not the day for the stream to be dead. Guys, am I back? Please give me a hell yes or something. I don't know. There you go. Man. In the age of internet, optic fibers and whatnot, I'm having to connect my mobile to hotspot to stream online on YouTube. Man, insanity. I'm sorry guys, apologies if I scared all of you into thinking that I'm never gonna be back. Alright, sorry. No, your internet's not down, Zara. It was my internet. I tried connecting to 2, 3, 4 connections, just didn't work, and I'm back to my mobile hotspot. I hope it keeps working. Alright guys, let's answer your questions. I think it's we wasted enough time already. Trent to Trippier. See, if you bring Trippier for Trent, Faz, then the issue is not going to be playing in 29. Otherwise, I think Trippier's... Again, Newcastle is not going to keep many clean sheets. It's got one of the worst expected goals conceded in the league. So if you want to do that, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. I think the upside is there for the... You know, for this week, I'd say, because they play against Bournemouth. But next week, they play against Arsenal. Do you think that's upside in that fixture? So be careful. Todd says bench Palmer, Solanke or Bowen. I'd say Palmer. You know, it's a tough one, Todd. Ideally, I'd say you have to bench one out of Palmer or Bowen, because Solanke last time he played against Newcastle, he scored 2 goals. Sometimes, you know, there's this thing against teams. When you play against the same team who you've done well against, it is almost like a tendency to do well against the same teams. Trent to VVD, Robbo or Ake. I'd say Ake is number 1 for me, Virgil van Dijk number 2 and Robbo number 3. Jota to Salah. Salah's not even starting. Look at the pinned message on the top, bro. Given that transfer, gonna... Which transfer, bro? I did not read yours. I did not read your message. Palmer, Kudus to Jota or Kuna to Darwin. I prefer Jota over Darwin, my friend. Yeah, and in that order, I like Ake number 1, VVD number 2 and Robo number 3, because Ake plays in Gameweek 26 as well. Think I'm wildcarding in 29, 30 anyway, but rather have 2 free transfers next week than Maguire this week, who I might not even start. CAV, it's the logic is, it's only saving your transfer only makes sense if you're not going to take a hit next week. Otherwise, if you're taking a hit next week for a -4, then it makes sense to make a transfer this week as well. You know, but if you're not gonna play the player, then I totally get where you're coming from. Trent to Van Dijk for a -4. Autocorrect is really funny, huh? Van Disney. Trent to Van Dijk for a -4. Only bench options are Taylor. Yeah, I'd do Trent to Van Dijk then. But remember, he doesn't have a fixture in 26, so you have to be aware of that. Any concern about Haaland attending his grandmother's funeral? There was initially, I guess. But I think those fears have been allayed by on Twitter. I checked a lot of threads and stuff which says that even if he goes on his grandmother's funeral, and may she rest in peace, of course, that he's going to be back in time for that fixture. So I guess it should be all right, Sylvester. But I guess get where you're coming from. I mean, if for that reason you don't want to triple captain him, I totally get that. But people on Twitter, they've done their due diligence and said that he's going to be back in time for the game. Yes, I need 2 free transfers to play 11 next week, but I would need 1 if Maguire. Then I guess, I mean, it doesn't make a difference, to be honest with you, but that's totally up to you if you want to make the transfer or not. Geeta says Salah is not starting. I just have Salah as the only Liverpool asset. Any concern? Shall I get Bradley? Salah not starting is a bit of a spanner in the works. I totally get that. To be honest with you, Connor Bradley again, I think is a decent enough option. But the issue is, again, if he's not going to be playing in 26, one thing which you can do is simply Salah to Jota. Simply just move him, and then you'll have 1 Liverpool asset starting. Otherwise, I think Bradley is okay-ish option. Yes, Kuna to Darwin or Palmer to Jota Diaz. I'd say they're both good options, to be honest with you. You can actually bring both of them, provided you have enough players in 26, bro. That's the whole issue. I mean, if you're having like 7 players left in Game Week 26, then there's no point in getting this upside. Remember that. Would you start? Who would you start between Richarlison and Garnacho? I would start Richarlison, my friend. I think I'll leave it with so many injuries this season. I agree with that though. Yeah. Hey FPL Sam, it's great to see you, my friend. Where have you been? Long time no see. I see you're doing well in FPL though, but yeah, I haven't been seeing you in groups or chats, my friend. I hope everything is alright. Siaman says, should I transfer out Poro for Virgil van Dijk? I guess you can, but again, you're gonna have to transfer him out next week because he's blanking. Is triple captain Darwin instead of Haaland a bad move, trying to gain a lot rank? See, Abirup, it can go either ways. There's like a 15% chance of it working and 85% chance of it flopping, because Haaland is surely gonna get at least, let us say the floor, is 10 points. I'd say, I mean, if Haaland gets more than that, and in some capacity, if Darwin doesn't do well, I mean, say bye-bye to the season then. That's the risks you're taking. You're gonna get pushed back so much. I am triple captaining Haaland not for the advantage. I'm telling you very clearly. I'm triple captaining Haaland as a shield because I want to shield my rank, and then I want to push forward in the remaining weeks, because if it's like a stab of a sword. In one move, you're gonna, wreck the entire season. That's the issue. Abirup says it's triple. I already answered that. Hey Light Rays, welcome to the stream, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Fadzali says no move. I'm contemplating, Fadzali. I've got a move on my mind. I might not make it. I might make it. I'm still thinking about it. Trent to which defender? Already have Walker and Saliba. I'd say you can even double up on the Arsenal defense. You can get Gabriel. If you don't want to get Gabriel, I think you can basically think about Van Dijk as well. But the thing is, again, he's blanking in 26. If you're fine with that, then that's not an issue. But he's blanking in 26, Van Dijk. Thanks a lot, Wiz. Triple captaining Haaland then. Cheers, Abirup. I mean, I'm not against taking risks in FPL, but it is about the risk and reward. I think with triple captaining Darwin, the risk outweighs the reward so much that it, for me, doesn't make it viable, my friend. So I think at this moment in time, we do not, we should take risks when we feel that the reward is so much. For example, last season, I think there was this guy on Twitter called Andy Martin. He triple captained Kevin De Bruyne in a fixture where people didn't even captain him, and he got, like, Kevin De Bruyne had a double game weekend. He got 30 points or something like that. it was insane. You know, he got 90 points. He finished the season at such a high rank. He jumped the ranks, but that was a totally different story because nobody even captained Kevin De Bruyne. Now what's going to happen with Haaland is everybody, even if you're not going to captain Haaland, you triple captain Haaland, you're going to captain him anyway, right? So the downside and upside is limited in this move. SH says, are you playing triple captain this game week? Yes, SH, I am. As long as there's no news or anything of the sort that, Haaland is gonna miss the, the fixture or something. Otherwise, I'm absolutely triple captaining Haaland. Need to get this chip out of the way with as many points as we can. Trent to Estupinan. Faz, again, Estupinan, I think is a decent option for this game week, maybe a decent option for the next game week, but again, his minutes have not been that assured. Once he was taken off at halftime and he didn't play the next game, and after that he played 90 minutes against Spurs. So it's a little bit tricky with Estupinan. Doing Turner and Trent to Kaminsky and Reguilon for a -4. I think Kaminsky is worth the -4 with 2x doubles and a very good chance of a blank game week fixture. Also expect him to pay it back over playing Dubravka. I agree with that. Kaminsky is fine, yeah. I totally agree, my friend. Kaminsky is like what you can call it, so maybe a -2 point hit or a 0 point hit, you can call it, because he's got 2 fixtures. He's likely to get maybe 4 points with Dubravka, most certain to lose a clean sheet as he always does against the easier teams. And Newcastle defense is a shambles, I can tell you that much. I don't know what Eddie Howe's done or what it's changed. I guess maybe their midfield is not available. Maybe their players are tired, but Newcastle doesn't look anywhere close to the same team they used to be previously. Yeah. So let's see what happens. Richarlison to Son. Richarlison is having such a great season, is playing really well. Why do you want to take him out for Son, bro? I don't understand. Trent to which defender? I already answered that, yeah. Estupinan again, it doesn't have a... See, guys, again, I'm answering your questions, yes, but you need to be clear what you're going to be doing in 29, what you're going to be doing in 26, what are you going to be doing in 20 game week 30, when are you going to wildcard, when are you going to free hit? It all depends, guys. My answers are not objective. They have to be subjective according to your chip strategy. For example, if somebody wants to bring in, let us say, if somebody wants to free hit in 29, you can bring in any player you want to because you're not concerned about the fixtures in 29. You want to take out Pedro Porro, you take out Pedro Porro. You want to take out Watkins, you take out Watkins, because you're free hitting in 29. You don't need these players, That's the whole point. You need to have a chip strategy. After that, first tell me your chip strategy. I think it's best way to ask the question is, right, I'm free hitting in 29. What should I do in this game week? That way, my answers will be much more specific, guys. The more input you give, the more output you get. There's no, that's the best way to ask a question, I'd say. Start Estupinan or Senesi? I'd start Estupinan, Neil. Do you think Bradley will play? I think Bradley will most certainly play, yes. Your views on Ake? I think Ake is one of the more secure Manchester City defenders out of the lot. I can say this much. Does he start both the games? I think as long as nothing big, he doesn't make a big mistake or something wrong doesn't happen, I think he does start both the games. Especially with Guardiola now injured, I think Ake has more chance of starting both the games out of all the defenders. Milo Taff says, good morning, Wiz. Good morning, my friend. Should I sell Darwin to DCL, Wiz? Why? What? Darwin to DCL? Darwin's got a double game week. Why would you want to sell? I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Maybe you're saying DCL to Darwin? If that's the question, I would say yes. Which website can I use to check future game weeks? The website is called fpl.team. fpl.team. This is the the website. Just go on this and you can put in your team ID and it'll load your team. Walker to Ake. This is a difficult one to suggest. I guess you can do it because Walker's minutes have not been secured. But if I already had Walker, I would not transfer him out. Let's say this. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't bring him in. But if I already had him, I would not take him out for Ake. Let's say that. Don't get confused, Faz. First tell me your chip strategy. I'll give you the answer clearly. The reason I'm not being able to give you the answer is because I do not know what chip strategy you're going to be using, bro. That's the whole issue. If you give me your chip strategy, so like what are you planning to do in 29? If you're free hitting in 29, then easily you can bring in anybody if you want. You know, if you're kind of free hitting in 26, let us say, you can do whatever you want. But the issue is I need to know. You know, only then will I be able to give a good answer. For personally, if you ask me, I'm not free hitting in 29. I'm wildcarding in game week 30 or game week 31. So based on that, I'm planning my team. I'm thinking about my transfers because I know what I'm going to do in the future. You know, that's the whole thing. Fast says I don't have a strategy. Bro, that's the reason you're getting confused about which players to bring in. And that is the reason I don't have a clear answer for you. You getting my point? Like, you have to make a plan, you know. You can't get to 29 and then start thinking about what to do. You have to make a plan in the future. See, you he says I've reached top 11k. I don't know how. Then you need to play the way you've been playing. You're doing much better than I am. You don't need my opinion. But you still need a strategy. I must stress that you need a strategy, and you need it now. You know, don't delay it, bro. If you're top 11k, now's the time to consolidate. Just put your triple captain on Haaland and start planning for the future. That's what you need to do now. But that's a fantastic rank, by the way. 11k. Congratulations, my friend. Yeah. I'm just gonna check on Twitter, guys. We've got already got news about Salah, so we don't expect any more news about Salah. I think we might get more news about other Liverpool players. FPL Sam says We'll be seeing you as done my moves, brought Bruno Fernandes for a hit. FPL Sam is always gonna be FPL Sam. Cheers, FPL Sam. I'm gonna see you around, my friend. Take care. Shukriya Viz. You're always welcome, Faz. Pradeep says, hello, brother. Who should I buy? Porro to Virgil van Dijk, Robertson, or Palmer to Luis Diaz? I'd say this week, Porro to Virgil van Dijk makes more sense, my friend. Palmer to Diaz maybe next week, because this week Aston Villa don't really have a much enticing fixture, you know. So I'd say this week Porro to VVD makes more sense. Hi, which two should I start from these four? Stupinan, Doughty, Gross, and Richarlison. Man, this is a tough one. I'd say Richarlison and Doughty. It could be Gross and Doughty, or Richarlison and Doughty. I think you have to start a double game week player if you have him, plus one out of the others. I think Richarlison is the best, but you know, it depends on what you feel like. Bench one. Todd says start Flecken or Pickford. 100% Flecken, bro. He'll get save points if nothing else. I don't expect Everton to. I mean, they do have a decent enough fixture, agreed, against Crystal Palace, but you know, it's hard to kind of where Everton are going. They played so well against City, and then they just kind of crumbled. You know, conceded 2 goals against Spurs. Yes, they kept a clean sheet against Fulham and Aston Villa. You know, but I'd still take a punt on the double game week player if you have him, Todd. I mean, that would be me. Even if there is not much. I mean, I think there is not much downside in this move. There might be a little upside, although it might not be much. Diaz from Liverpool, I prefer Jota and Darwin over Diaz. Bench 1 from Gabriel, Doty, Van Hecke and Bradley. I would bench Van Hecke, my friend. I need Brentford defense leaks. What do you need about Brentford? I think we already know who's going to start from Brentford. I don't think there's too much doubtful. I think Reguilon and Rorslev, they're going to start as the wing backs, and Collins, Pinnock and Ben Mee is going to start as the 3 centre backs. I don't think there's anything to leak from Brentford, bro. If you have any questions, let me know. Pradeep says, brother, I asked to buy Porro to VVD or Palmer to Luis Diaz from Liverpool. I'd said Porro to VVD, bro. I prefer Porro to VVD. Garnacho or Palmer, who to start? I'd start Garnacho. Best time to triple captain Haaland? Yes, I think so. I mean, you'll have more double game weeks in game week 34 and 37. But right now, if you can get it out of the way, that time you can plan for bench boosts. Viz, who do I start out of? Walker, Stupinan, Trips, Bradley, Gabriel. How many do you need to start, Aaron? Todd says thanks. You're welcome, my friend. Always welcome. So let me take you to my transfers page, guys, because right now I don't expect the madness to be too much, because Salah is on the bench. He's starting on the bench, so I do not expect too much madness. I hope the hamsters can hang on today. But you never know with the FPL servers. So whatever transfer moves you want to make, guys, I'd suggest you to do them now rather than wait. So see, I've got 0.8 million in the bank. I've got 1 free transfer. Last week I brought in Virgil van Dijk, right? And this week I've got basically I've got the option to make either I roll my transfer or I make 2 moves. I take out Estupinan and I take out Solanke, and I bring in Ivan Toney, and I bring in Reguilon. Now hear me out. Why I'm thinking this is because of the fact, and it is going to be for a -4, by the way, guys. Right? Let me tell you why I'm thinking this. Bournemouth have not been in really good form, right? So I'm not really keen on keeping Solanke now, right? I only want Solanke in game week 28. Like, I don't want him before that. So if you look at Solanke's fixtures, I don't want him in 25. I don't want him in 26. You can say maybe I want him in 27, right? Maybe. I'm not so sure, I want to transfer out Haaland in 28. I want to take him out in 28 because he's playing Liverpool away. So what I'm thinking is I can bring back Solanke for Haaland in game week 28 when he plays Liverpool away, right? And that way I can captain Solanke in game week 28 when he really has the money fixtures against Sheffield United and Luton, right? So these are the games in which I want to captain Solanke, so I might get him back. So this is one thing which I've had on my plan. Start Neto or Palmer? I'd start Neto or Palmer. I'd start Palmer maybe. I think Palmer can do well against City. Old team revenge, I guess. I don't know. Todd says FPL Focal says Liverpool starters are Kelleher, Robo, Virgil van Dijk, Konate, Bradley. I think that's expected. Jones, Endo, and Jones? I think it should be McAllister, Endo and Jones, yeah. McAllister, Endo, Jones, Diaz, Darwin, I think that's expected, my friend. I think that's the most expected news or the team lineup which we can think of. I think we had the leaks of Salah not starting, but we haven't had more leaks. I've been on Twitter, I'm checking regularly. I haven't had any more messages right now. But out of the leaks, I can make out that Salah is on the bench. I think obviously we expect Jota, Darwin and Luis Diaz to start. Behind them are going to be McAllister, Endo and Jones. And then I think the defense is pretty much picks itself. Kwanzaa came in last week because Konate was on a red card. So cheers, Todd. Thanks for sharing, bro. Abhijit says, I'm thinking Trent to Virgil and Porro to Reguilon. I'm confused as what to do next week though. Well, Abhijit, you're gonna plan for next week now. If you get in Trent, if you move Trent for Virgil van Dijk next week, Virgil is blanking. And Reguilon obviously has a fixture against West Ham away next week. So you need to decide what you want to do with that. So you have to plan, right? If you look at the transfers which I'm planning. So guys, what would you do if you were in my place? What would you do? Would you make these transfers? Take out Estupinan for Reguilon, take out Solanke for Ivan Toney, because I'm taking out 2 fixtures for 4 essentially, right? I know Reguilon's got games against Liverpool and City, but even if he can get me 4 points, 3 points, I'm happy with that. I don't expect Estupinan to do too well because he's kind of up and down. He's not even getting minutes. Charlie Taylor was back in training last I heard, so I think he should be fine by game week 26, and that's what I'm hoping for. And for until that time, we're just. So he's basically close to coming back to fitness. That's all I can tell you about Charlie Taylor, my friend. I'm on Twitter, guys. I'm checking regularly. I don't find any news. I really don't find any news, to be honest with you. Right. Well, we'll see if we get any news. Sorry, McAllister, you're writing it. Cheers, Todd. Any news? And I answered that. Your views on Ake? I think Ake is a great pick from the City defense. Not a great pick. I'd say the more safe picks because he's been starting for the last, I'd say, 6-7 games. He's been secure, especially with Guardiola out. I think he can be a decent option from the City defense if you're looking at that. It's either Ake or Reguilon for me. Well, if I could get Ake, it would be fine. But the thing is, why I'm planning this move exactly is this gives me like already 6 players for game week 29, right? It gives me Areola, it gives me Pedro Porro, it gives me Richarlison, it gives me Ivan Toney, Watkins, and if Charlie Taylor is fit by then, it gives me Taylor as well. So I already have got 6 players. And for next week as well, it gives me Reguilon, it gives me Gabriel, and I will have, obviously I will take out Virgil van Dijk next week and I'll have 3 defenders. Then it gives me Saka, Foden, right? And whoever I bring in for Diogo Jota. And then it gives me Haaland, Toney and Watkins. So, with 2 transfers, I'll have enough players to play. Hopefully if Taylor plays, I'll have 11. Luis Diaz or Jota? I'd say Jota 100%. You'd have 7 players for the blank game week 27. Blank game week 27. I'd keep Solanke and just sell Estupinan though. Yeah, I've been thinking about that as well. I mean, if I want to do this, simply, I don't want to get Toney. I could simply do this in place of Taylor. Then I don't need to sell Estupinan because then next week Estupinan plays against Everton. The fixtures are not bad, so I could keep Estupinan as well. So I've got 2 options: either I just roll my transfer and hope for the best, or I just bring in Reguilon and Toney and be secure for game week 29. Because if I want to bring in Toney, I think this is the week to do it. Next week, I don't think it makes any sense, logically. Because 28, I'm going to take out Haaland and bring in Solanke anyway, if I bring Toney in, right? So that's what I've been thinking. And I'd say Toney would act as a bit of a differential as well. He's 9% owned. If I need to push up the ranks a little bit, I think Ivan Toney is the one to push me up the ranks. He's basically 7. You can't see it here, but he's 9.7% owned. So I'm thinking about it. I've not made my decision yet, but it's on my mind. Yasa says, "Hi, well, I'm rolling my transfer this game week. Have KDB, Jota, Darwin, Doty, and Haaland in the top 70k, still intact in the overall cup. Our opponent has Foden, scared for that. It's alright, man. You're doing well. Don't be too focused on the cup. Be focused on your leagues. I think you're gonna do well. You're gonna be alright. Hi, Wes. And if you can bring in Foden, I'd say you should. You know. Hi, Wes. We've got Haaland, Foden, and Alvarez. How do I navigate Alvarez? If I had Alvarez right now, I would keep him. Selling Solanke and bringing back is 2 free transfers. That's worth 8 points. If you own Solanke, then just keep and bench him. If you really want, don't sell. Yeah, I agree with that. That is the point. Actually, you know, that is the reason I've been thinking about rolling, or simply bringing in Reguilon. But the thing is, if I bring in Reguilon, I possibly then for Taylor, then I'll play I'd still play Stupinan because Reguilon doesn't have good fixtures anyway. That's the issue. Yeah, I'm not. If I own Solanke, I'd probably play him. I won't bench him. I'd bench Palmer over Solanke because Solanke scored 2 goals against Newcastle. I think I'd still play him over Palmer. Palmer's got a much tougher game. Good morning, Poro to Stupinan. Poro or Stupinan to Ake. I'd say, James, if you want to free hit in game week 29, then you can take out Poro for Ake. If you possibly want to keep Poro for 29, then you can take out a Stupinan. See, it's again depends on the chip strategy which you're going to use. All depends on the chip strategy. Bench 1 of Gordon, Watkins, and Richarlison. Poro is definitely out this week. He's not a doubt. He's out. This is a tough question, my friend. I would not bench Watkins. I would not bench Richarlison. I guess Gordon is the one which you can bench. Would you bench Gordon, Palmer for Brunthwaite, considering both have tougher fixtures compared to Everton? I would not bench Gordon. I would not bench Palmer. I would bench Brunthwaite. You always play the attacking players over the defenders, my friend. Just one mistake and they'll lose a clean sheet and then you got nothing to do. So basically, I would play both of these attacking players over the defender. Bradley or Virgil? This is a tough one, Abhijit. I mean, it depends. I think Bradley is going to play both the games. Virgil, I guess, is more secure, But whenever Bradley is played, if you look at his stats, he's always getting attacking points in assists and goals. So that way, I guess Bradley's more attacking. Virgil's minutes are more secure because, Gomez can play there as well. So if in case he makes a mistake or Klopp doesn't trust him, he can bring in Gomez on for him. But I think Van Dijk is more secure in his minutes. That's the only caveat I can offer you. Still thinking about my moves, guys. I will do my moves with I'm waiting for any leaks or any team news which can help me make up my mind. But I'll let you know. I wish I had enough money to go for Kevin De Bruyne, though. That's the player I'm really scared of. But, you can't have everybody. By the way, guys, and a player which nobody has mentioned, you can still double up on your Arsenal defense. Arsenal have been playing really well. They've got good fixtures as well. They've got a fixture in 29. You can go with both Gabriel and Saliba. So if you're looking for a Trent Alexander-Arnold replacement and you don't want to go for a City defender, knowing that they're a little bit prone to kind of a rotation, so you can go for somebody like a Saliba or a Gabriel. I think you can double up on the Arsenal defense as well. This is still a possibility. So think about that as well. I've seen nobody mention Saliba, nobody mention Gabriel. Maybe because Arsenal doesn't have a double game week, but that should not put you off at all. Actually, the whole point about getting Reguilon was not in my team, guys. Was not about actually getting Reguilon. I really want to just get Ivan Toney here. The issue is I don't have enough money for Toney, which is why I am having to take a hit. I think Ake is a decent transfer in, yes. I'm going to free hit in the double game week in 34 or in 37, my friend. I'm going to save it for the double game weeks when their upside is more. I want to use my free hit to increase my upside and not to reduce my downside. Bradley, KDB, Ake, Jota. I'd say Bradley and KDB. Bench Watkins. It's a difficult one though, but I'd say a little bit. Difficult one though. I'd say hard to select one. I'd say Bradley and KDB. I don't know. I'm triple captaining Haaland, yes. Triple captaining KDB or Jota? I'd say Jota. I don't trust KDB's minutes as much as I trust Jota's. Tough one. I'd captain triple. Why don't you triple captain? If you want to triple captain Haaland. Why are you looking for options, Humayu? Bench Watkins for Barkley. No, I would not. I would play Watkins. If you want to bench, bench a defender for Barkley, but not Watkins. I'd play Watkins still. Nottingham Forest is a decent fixture, I would play Watkins, my friend. Salmon Lee says, already done Solanke to Tony and Trent to Gabriel. Do I take a -4 and do Palmer to Diaz, bench Richarlison, already have Jota? Salmon Lee, then if you are having enough players for 26, then I think you can do it for the upside. Otherwise, I think you have a good enough team, even if you don't want to do that. But you can, for the upside, it's possible. But then if you don't have enough players for 26, what's upside going to do there? That's the whole issue. It feels a bit weird to roll my transfer when I've seen people taking hits of -8s and -4s and whatnot. So it feels so weird to roll my transfer, I tell you. Waiting on leaks which Brentford defender to get. Just get Pinnock or Reguilon. You don't need to wait for the leaks, bro. You're not going to get Brentford leaks, I'm telling you, George. There's no point in waiting. Make your transfer and do it. Triple captain Darwin, what do you think? I prefer Haaland, bro. I think triple captaining Darwin is a dangerous strategy. If it goes for you, then it is a very, very high upside strategy. But you don't play games where the risk and rewards are both really big, So you always play the strategy in which risk is less and reward is more. Roslev also an option. He is alright. I prefer Reguilon. I think he's just up and down that flank. He's taking corners. He's everywhere. I prefer him. Jeevan says, what about Doughty? I think it's a decent option. Doesn't have a game in 26 though. Ahmed says nothing to lose. Well, if you got nothing to lose, then you can go for it. But then you'll have more nothing to lose. Remember that. I went from Leno to Kelleher and Palmer to Doku. Doku, I'm not so sure. I'm not even sure. Yes, with Grealish injured, he does get more game time, but still, Foden can play there, and Alvarez playing on the right and KDB playing behind Haaland. So it depends on what happens, but I think it's alright. Doku's fine. I don't have a free hit for 29, so I'm planning game wildcard in 27. I think that's a good strategy, bro. If you don't have a free hit, then you should plan in the future. Took -4 Trent plus Maidu for Saka plus Saka plus Gabriel. I have 6 doubles. Cheers, Neil. I think that looks nice. Kaminsky is better than Flecken. I think he's better than Flecken in terms of having more games, but he doesn't play in 29. But otherwise, he is better, yes. Can only pick a forward or mid for Barkley, unfortunately. I can't think of any player to bench amongst KDB, Foden, Haaland, Saka, Palmer, Watkins. You can bench Palmer if you want. Nobody else. The only one which you can bench out of these is Palmer. Nobody else. I would not bench anybody else. Should I go for Van Dijk instead of Trippier for a -4? I also have Kelleher. I think Trippier has a decent enough game, my friend. I'm not sure how much upside this move will give you. Start one Trippier or Gabriel. I'll start Trippier over Gabriel. Kaminsky for a -4. It's in the balance, but if you're going to keep him till Gameweek 28, I guess why not? Guys, the timing is on the screen for you. 9 minutes to deadline. Please lock your teams. Bring in Virgil or Ake. I think Virgil van Dijk or Ake is fine. I think they're going to both play both the fixtures. I think Virgil van Dijk has slightly easier fixtures. So you can think about Virgil. Start Dunk or Mitchell in place of Pedro Porro. I'd start Dunk. Solanke and Richarlison out for Darwin and Diaz. Yes, why not? But I'd prefer to do... I mean, I don't like taking out Richarlison, by the way, though. You can simply do Solanke to Darwin. I think that's good enough. I don't like this idea of... yeah, it's a little bit tough. Yes. What do you think on Moreno's minutes? Could he be benched now? I think he's at this moment in time he's safe, but yes, he can be benched. I mean, with the way he's playing now, I feel it's a bit difficult for him to get benched. But with Dean being back, if Moreno makes a mistake, yes, in the coming weeks he might be. You know, you never know. You can never say. Made my moves, Trent to Virgil, Porro to Reguilon, triple captain on Haaland. Like that. I like that. I'm thinking about my moves as well, you know. Obviously I've had these 2 or 3 moves in my mind. Still thinking, you know. The obvious move is simply to move Pedro Porro out for Ake, but that doesn't solve my purpose of Gameweek 29. Or even 26, if I say that. 20, yeah, it's fine for 26, but it doesn't serve my purpose of Gameweek 29. Still thinking. Is triple captaining Nunes bad? Yeah, I agree with that, Abhijit. I'm still thinking, you know. I'm not trusting the servers anyway. Yeah. Bring in... No, I'm not trusting the servers. I'm just thinking, my friend. I've got 3... Basically, I had 3 plans to... out Solanke and bring in Darwin. Yeah, that's fine, but then you're gonna have to take him out for the next game week. You know, it's upside versus downside. I mean, that's one move which I thought for my own team as well. You know, Solanke to Darwin. I thought about my own team as well because I had the money enough to do it. But again, issue is game week 26. I'm not gonna be having enough players for that. And then you're gonna have to takes too many hits to take him out. Bradley or Doty? I think Bradley has more upside because of the clean sheets. I think Liverpool's fixtures are good, better. Benching Cole Palmer and thinking, what if he comes back to haunt Manchester City? Well, it's that right, happens, you know. I mean, when you have 8 good midfielders and strikers, then you have to bench one of them. That's the rule of the game, right? Transfer made, Trent to Ake, Haaland, triple captain. I mean, that's the best one, I guess. Jugs. I am locking my team, bro. I'm just thinking. Just thinking right now. Next week, I'm gonna have to take out Virgil van Dijk and Diogo Jota anyway, you know. So, playing Solanke over Palmer as Newcastle defense has been in shambles. I agree with that. I agree with that. Still thinking. Start Wong or Douglas Luiz. I'd possibly start Wong, although the fixture is tough, you know. Actually, I'd start Douglas Luiz because of him being on penalties. I've changed my mind about that. I'd start Douglas Luiz, my friend. 3 minutes. Yeah, my friend, I'm just thinking. I know my moves, which I thought I want to make. I think I'm going to go ahead with my moves. Let's take a hit. Let's go for it. I always notice that when I change my strategy in the middle of the stream, it doesn't work. Let's go for it. Jota. Let's go for it. Who cares? Let's just do it. Don't change your strategy in the middle of the stream. Never works. Let's go, guys. See, I've taken a hit, you know. No, there's not going to be any Brentford news, George. I'm telling you, bro. Nobody's interested in Brentford defenders, as you know. So they only tweet news about the more popular players. Triple captain Haaland. Yep, triple captain Haaland. He is my triple captain. He is, right. Let me refresh and check that I've activated my triple captaincy, right? Yep. He is my triple captain. Vice captain you can put in anybody. Won't make much of a difference. Martinelli or Garnacho? It's a difficult one, bro. It's very, very difficult. I read your question on the group. I did not know how to answer that. I'd say Martinelli because Burnley are more susceptible to concede goals. Arsenal scored 6 against West Ham, so it's a bit dubious for me. Again, guys, I mean, if Reguilon and Ivan Toney do not perform, I'm not concerned. I did not bring them in only for this week, and if they repay my hit only, for example, Solanke plus Estupinan points and Reguilon plus Toney points are equal, plus or minus 4, then I'd be happy with that, because that way it saves me from wasting my free hit in 29. The double game week upside is too much to ignore, guys. It's just too much. I don't like Ivan Toney against Liverpool. I don't like Ivan Toney against Manchester City. You know what I mean, right? But you have to plan for the future as well. You know, I took my hit. Next week, I'm going to take one more. And I'll have enough players to play. You know, because I'm going to take out Diogo Jota and Van Dijk. That way, all the players should be playing. Triple captain Haaland, says George. Which defender do you get in, George? Time's up. Time's up, guys. It's deadline. So, which moves did you make, George? I'd love to know which defender you got. I hope it's Reguilon, though. 'Cause, you know, I don't like Ivan Toney against Liverpool. I don't like Ivan Toney against Manchester City. You know what I mean, right? But you have to plan for the future as well. You know, I took my hit. Next week, I'm going to take one more. And I'll have enough players to play. You know, because I'm going to take out Diogo Jota and Van Dijk. That way, all the players should be playing. Triple captain Haaland, says George. Which defender do you get in, George? So guys, it was a bit of a crazy stream. Yeah, you got a regular and I got that. So it was a bit of a crazy stream today. I mean, I lost my connection right at the start, and then I tried connecting with both of my internets, did not work. Then I had to turn on my mobile hotspot, and then I had to stream from an hotspot, and that worked like a charm. I guess from next time I should just start streaming on my hotspots, and fiber optic connections are just to be left alone for YouTube buffering. Insane, guys. Thanks for answering our queries patiently. You're always welcome, Zara. It was a nice stream actually. I enjoyed it a lot. The questions were interesting though. I mean, very difficult ones as well, but they were interesting, I guess. Do we have any news? No news. What? Haaland does not. What? Haaland does not start? What do you mean? Oh, he's joking. Insane. Salah's on the bench as expected. Salah's on the bench. Yeah, we already knew that. We already knew that. The news was out that Salah was on the bench, and it has been confirmed by Spy and Cop. He says Salah's on the bench. I hope we'll have more leaks. We'll know about the news. Let us see what happens. FPL Tony, the guy who basically leaks Manchester City team news, is triple captaining Haaland. So I think that makes it clear. That makes it at least clearer as to Haaland should be all right. Let's see what happens. No more news on Twitter, guys, by the way. Oh, that was Buna. Crazy guy. Crazy guy, man. Insanity. Right, so if you're triple captaining somebody and this FPL Buna guy, before, like, with 2 minutes to go, he impersonates as FPL Main Road and he says that Haaland is not starting. You guys are gonna go mad. George, not everybody triple captained him, actually, there are people who've just captained him. Actually, the upside with Haaland is not even the triple captaincy, it's just double captaincy, because everybody who hasn't triple captained him would have at least captained him, right? So what you get is, for example, Haaland scored 20 points. You're not going to get an advantage of 40 points over him. You'll only get an advantage of 20 points because everybody will get 40. So the additional 20 points that'll take you to 60 is the only advantage that you will get. That's the issue with triple captaining a very, very popular player, but that also goes against you. So it's both ways. I mean, it's more of a shield than it is a sword. That's all I can say about it. So I'm not captaining him for the upside. I'm captaining him to save me some downside, I guess. That's how we can think about it. George says, I mean, every serious manager, not including casuals. Yeah, I agree with that. I think even casuals would have triple captained him. Abhijit says, I'm happy because most of my mates in the mini league have already used their triple captain. Who have they used the triple captain on? I think there have been a couple of double game weeks, but they were on, I guess, Luton and more such teams. I guess there was not a serious team in which we could have actually used it. But I guess you're gonna be happy this week looking at your league, Abhijit. I think you're gonna be doing fine, bro. Well, I guess there's no more news to be had on Twitter, guys. I was on Twitter. I did not see anything. So let's wait and watch. So guys, thank you so much for being on the stream today. I'm sorry it was a bit of a choppy one. Going by your swords and shields analogy of triple captain Haaland as well, Zara, I think that's good. I think that's the way to go about it. I mean, people who don't think about the risk reward, they're not planning basically. You know, they're just shooting arrows in the dark. I think eventually the game catches up to them. You know, they can. It's like when we were small, we used to run these races, and there was always this one kid, who used to, like, even if it was like, let us say, a 5-kilometer race, there was always this one kid who used to sprint ahead like crazy. And people used to kids used to watch him. They were like, oh my god, he's gonna win because he's sprinting at the start. So people used to start running fast and following him, and that kid would actually stop after 1 kilometer and tiring all the rest of the people out as well. FPL is not a sprint, it's a marathon. If you want to run the marathon properly, you're gonna have to divide your energy. You're gonna have to channelize, plan, strategize, and that's the only way you're going to get to the end. Otherwise, you might get to like top 10k at the start of the season, and then you're gonna be pushed back so quickly you won't even realize if you don't plan. So in a 38 game week, it doesn't work like that. You have to keep planning. You have to think about risk reward always. George says, great analogy. Thanks, mate. Devargas says, did Poro to Regular and Solanke to Darwin. Yeah, I like that. I guess triple captain on Haaland, hoping to break through 35k from 50. I think you should do that. I think the team looks awesome. Solanke to Darwin looks absolutely great, mate. We can do predictions. Yes, of course we can do it. I'm sorry, I just totally forgot all about predictions. Right. So let's start from the top, guys. I want everybody to take part in the predictions. That way it makes it more interesting, guys. Right? So please give me your predictions. I won't read your predictions. I'll just go straight through. But please do predict. Thank you as much. I appreciate it. You're always welcome, Neil. Thank you so much for being on the stream, my friend. So the first one, guys, I think... so I'm going to say it very clearly. I don't think Liverpool are going to keep a clean sheet in this one. I think when Brentford play at home, yes, City, City did beat them. But it wasn't an easy game. It was a very difficult game. Even Pep said after the game it was a difficult game. So I think Liverpool win this game. But... they're not going to keep a clean sheet. I'm going to go for a 3-2 win for Liverpool. I think it's going to be a close one. I think, especially with Ivan Toney comments with Thomas Frank, I think he's going to be motivated to perform in the stadium. 2-3, I guess. I'm going with. What are you saying? Surfro says 2-0 to Liverpool. Todd says 1-3. Interesting. Devargas says as well 1-3. George says, out of curiosity, what's everyone expecting Haaland's EO to be? I think it's going to be 265%. I think that's the least, my friend. It could be more. Abhijit says 4-2. Lighter says 2-1 to Liverpool. I think 2-1 can also be the score. If I'm going with the 3-2, 2-1 can also be the score. Basically, I think it's going to be a margin of 1 goal, not more than that. George says 3-2. It will be close. Brentford 2, Liverpool 4. I think that would be a great game to watch. I think it will be great for all the people who've got Liverpool triple ups. It's going to be absolutely... Abhishek says, what is EO in simple terms? Abhishek, it is the effective ownership. So for example, effective ownership means how much it actually impacts your rank, and how much, basically any player who's above 100%, and you're not, it's basically effective ownership against your team, right? So if, for example, you don't own Darwin Núñez and his effective ownership is, let us say, 70%, that way they're going to calculate the points. Like if he scores 1 point, that'll be 0.7 points against your team, right? So how much he impacts your overall rank, how much he impacts your overall team is determined by the effective ownership. So if Haaland is going to be 265% owned and you don't own Haaland, or if you haven't triple captained him, then the points are going to go against you, simply. So next one, guys, let's do the predictions first. 3-0 to Arsenal, says Devargia. To be honest with you, I think Arsenal are going to win this game, and I don't think Arsenal are going to absolutely hammer Burnley just like they did against West Ham. I think West Ham were not at the races on that day. They were absolutely shambolic. I think the Arsenal are going to win this game 2-0. Arsenal going to keep a clean sheet and win the game 2-0. I guess Saka would be amongst the goals. Let us see what you have to say. 3-0, 1-3 says Zara, 3-0 says Light Rays, Todd as well, 3-0, George says 2-0 as well. So everybody expects Arsenal to win, and that'll make me very happy. So let's go for the next one. Aston Villa versus Fulham. I think Fulham have dipped in form a bit. I think after the cup loss, or even before that, initially they were doing really well. I think Marco Silva had them set up really well. But Sir Crocodile says I missed the deadline. Man, you were on the stream. You said hello to me at the start, bro. How did you miss the deadline? I don't like that one bit. Take it easy, bro. I hope you had your bus team set up at the very least. So we're doing the predictions here. I'm going with the 2-1 win for Aston Villa. Devarga says 1-1 or 1-2 to Aston Villa. Abhijit says 2-1 to Palace. 2-1 to Villa, you mean, right? 1-1 says Zara as well. 2-1 Villa says Light Rays. Sir Crocodile says 1-1. Nice. So you expect it to be a very close game, and no one said that Villa are going to keep a clean sheet, you know. Although Villa are playing in 29, none of their defenders are very appealing at the moment. I mean, Carlos got injured, Konza got injured, Cash, we don't know how he's going to do. You know, it's a bit all over the place right now with the Villa defense. So I'm going to go with the 2-1 prediction for Villa. Let's see how it plays out. Newcastle versus Bournemouth is going to be very interesting now that I don't have any players from this fixture. I had Dominic Solanke and I took him out for Tony for a hit. You know, it's going to be hard for me to watch this fixture because Newcastle games are a bit scary, to be honest with you. I mean, 4-4 against Luton Town, and you know, there's just goals in these games these days, so I'm a little bit scared. Let us see. So I'm expecting Newcastle to beat Bournemouth by 2-1. Because I think Newcastle are attacking wise, they are getting better again. It's the defense that is causing them the problems. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Newcastle. Todd says Haaland's effective ownership is 2.33, but that's 33%. That's not as bad as we expected. So when you captain a player, it's simply, if it's a 100% owned player, his EO goes to 200%, right? Now it's 233%. So anybody who hasn't triple captained Haaland, I think for every point he scores, you'll suffer by, I guess, 0.3 or something like that. Have to calculate, but just a general strategy. I mean, that's if you've captained Haaland. If you've not even captained him, then say goodbye to your overall rank if he performs. Sir Crocodile says 2-1 as well. And Zara says 2-2. Lighter says 3-2. Todd says 2-2. Fulham and Aston Villa. Nice. Wow. That would be a nice game to watch, actually, if it's a 2-2 and Ollie Watkins is amongst the goals. George says 2-2 between Newcastle and Bournemouth. So the next one, guys, Nottingham Forest versus West Ham. This one will be interesting to watch. Nottingham Forest have been up and down the place. Todd says Newcastle 2 and Bournemouth 1. The same prediction as me. Nottingham Forest have been up and down. I mean, all over the place. Sometimes you feel they're a good team, you know, but I mean, it's difficult because they don't really have the players, and Morgan Gibbs White is not that kind of a talisman player that can carry the team. So they've been struggling. You see these previous fixtures, right? So they win 1, they lose 2. It's kind of been all over the place a little bit, you know. This game was a close one, I give them that, you know, but then they lost at home. They shouldn't be losing, you know, otherwise soon they'll start struggling against Bournemouth. Look, it's a 1-1. I captained Solanke for this fixture. Now I'm not happy with that. Against Arsenal, they always do well. They beat Arsenal last season, but you see they've been losing, Nottingham Forest, guys, and we're not too interested in their team anyway. I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw between the two. Let us see what you have to say. 1-1 says Devarga. Sir Crocodile says 1-1 as well. Zara says West Ham are going to win. West Ham have been in a rut. 6-0 against Arsenal. They got absolutely hammered. Hammers got hammered. So Todd says 1-1 as well. Lighter says 2-2. Abhishek says it's the effective points of players for and against your team. Yeah, I guess that's a subtle way to explain it. So guys, Spurs versus Wolves. I expect Spurs to win this 3-1. Surfro says 1-0 to West Ham. I'm going with the 3-1. I think this is going to be a crazy kind of a game. Wolves are a team which is a very difficult to predict right now. They don't, I can never call out what they're going to do in the next game. Sometimes they're tight in defense, sometimes they're leaking goals, sometimes they're attacking, sometimes they're sitting back. I don't know how to actually evaluate them. So I'm going with the 3-1 win for Wolves. George says 1-0. Devarga says 3-2 Spurs as Wolves are erratic. Exactly what I was trying to say. Todd says Spurs 3-2. Sir Crocodile says 2-1. Lighter says 3-2 to Spurs. And Surfro says 2-1 to Spurs. Todd says the next one. So Manchester City versus Chelsea. I'm going with a 3-1. I don't expect City to keep a clean sheet in this one. I think Chelsea... I'm going to go with a 4-1 in this one. I think Kevin De Bruyne will be influential in this game because he always scores against Chelsea. And if Kevin plays in this game, I think he just has this grudge against Chelsea. I don't know what it is, but he always scores against Chelsea. So I'm going with the 4-1 prediction in this game. I hope Haaland scores a couple, and so that our triple captain fears can be just put to rest, and then we can enjoy the City versus Brentford game. I would absolutely love it. George says 2-1 to Spurs and 3-1 to City. So the most predictions are 3-1 to City or 3-2 to City. So basically, only Sir Crocodile thinks, and Devarga, of course, that City are going to keep a clean sheet. They usually don't. I don't know what's up with Manchester City. Once they're leading 3-0, 4-0, they just become so complacent and just start leaking unnecessary goals. It's just weird to watch. Sheffield versus Brighton. I took out Estupinan for this game. I know it's going to be tough, but I think Sheffield are going to try. Last week they beat Luton 3-1. Maybe Wilder, was angry. Maybe he's trying to get their players up for the fight. They know it's a tough relegation battle, but they're still trying. Todd says 2-0 to Brighton. I guess it could be 2-1, 2-0. I think Brighton will win this game. I think Mitoma is going to be too much for them to handle for Sheffield United. I think they can handle all their other players, Buonanotte and such. I think Mitoma is going to be the one who's going to be amongst the goals in this game. I'm going with the 2-1 win for Brighton. Surfro says 3-1 to City. Zara says 3-1 to City as well. Sir Crocodile says 4 goals for Brighton and 2 for Sheffield. I'd absolutely hate that, having no players from this game. George says 1-1. Lighter says 2-1. Zara says 3-1. Interesting. Everybody expects Brighton to be amongst the goals, and I taken out Estupinan. Now I'm gonna get punished. Luton versus Manchester United. This game is gonna be an interesting one to call. Luton, the previous game week, they did really well. Not this game week, the game week before that, they went away to Newcastle. They scored 4 goals. Before that, they beat Brighton 4-0. So they've been scoring 4 goals, and look at what happened. People loaded up on Kaminsky's and Doughty's and Adebayos and whatnot, and look what they happened. They lost to Sheffield United. Of all teams, they lost to Sheffield United 3-1. So it's a very unpredictable team. I think United are going to win this 3-1. Let us see what you have to say. Abhijit says 3-2. McTominay again. McTominay's been really crunch for United this season. He always comes on and seems to score these winning goals at the right time. I don't know how many times he has done it this season. And he always wanted to play as a striker. He was never a midfielder. In his mind, he thinks he's a striker. So Abhijit 3-2 McTominay. So Crocodile says 4-2. Lighter says 3-2. We don't have any players from this game, guys, and people have got like 2, 3, 4, 2 players, 3 players from Luton as well. People have got Doughty, and they've got Adebayo. They've got Barclays, and I don't know. So Todd says 2-0 to Manchester United. That would be interesting. Many people have got Maguire. Some people have got Delo as well. So that would be a nice result for them. 1-0 to Luton, says Surfrose. Wow, that would be nice. Or interesting to say the least. Zara says 3-2. That would be a nice game to watch. This might be something odd like a 0-0. It could be, very well. You never can predict Luton. They're very erratic these days, but they are more attacking to say the least. But they're going to run out of steam pretty soon. Last game of the single game week, I guess. Everton versus Palace. I guess I'm going with the Everton win, especially with Doucouré being back. I think it's gonna be an Everton win. I think Everton gonna win this 2-0. Crystal Palace are absolutely struggling. I don't know why they've not sacked their manager yet, but I'm going with the 2-0 win for Everton. Everton had been getting better. They did so well against City for the first 50-55 minutes, but once Haaland scored that goal, then I guess they lost all their willpower to play, and then they just got they didn't get hammered to say, but they just gave it up. They knew that they were not going to score. Initially they had a few chances as well though. 2-1 to Everton, says Lightrace. Zara says 2-0. Todd says 1-0. George says Everton versus Palace seems 0-0 or 1-1. Surfro says 1-0 to Everton. So everybody expects Everton to kind of win, or mostly by 1 goal, I guess. George expects it to be a draw. Right, guys. Now coming to the double game week, Manchester City play against Brentford, and Brentford is a team which Pep Guardiola described as very difficult to play against. They played against them a couple of game weeks back as well, and it was 1-3. But Brentford gave City a game and a half. It was a tough game. It is not that easy as it looks from this. Yes, Oscar Bob, I think, was it Oscar Bob or who was it? Came on and scored the goal. If I'm not mistaken, but City did. Oh, it was the Foden hat-trick game. Sorry, I think Oscar Bob came against Newcastle, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this was the game. Sorry. No, not this. Which game did Oscar Bob come in and score the goal? I just can't. Yeah, this one. This is the one. Sorry, guys. So this was the Foden hat-trick game, and obviously it pains me to talk about this game because I benched Phil Foden for this game. So yeah, it does pain me talking about this game. And Pep Guardiola said exclusively, he said that it was a very tough game for us. And Brentford are one of the best teams in the world to play the way they play. So it's going to be tough. City going to beat Brentford, I'm telling you, but it's not going to be an easy game. And especially after the game which they play now, and they played against Copenhagen. So, the games are coming thick and fast for City. For example, if you see here, 17, 21, and then they've played a game a couple of days ago in the Champions League as well. So I'm going with let us say a 3-1 win for City. I think Brentford will score. We should start looking at Crystal Palace new manager bounce. Yeah, I guess so. But main players which we want to get from Palace are injured. Eze, Olise, they're all injured. So that's the issue. And not sure about the new manager bounce thing, to be honest with you. We need to see it before we actually can invest in them. So City 3-0 says Todd. George says 2-1. Surfro says 2-0. Lighter says 3-1. Interesting. So I'm going to go with the 3-1 as well. 7 goals for City I'm expecting in this game week. So if Haaland can score like 3 of them, we'd be over the moon, guys, in it. And the last game is Liverpool versus Luton. And I think Liverpool gonna absolutely hammer Luton in this game. I think if Salah starts this one, I mean, it will be an ideal game for Salah to come back and score a hat-trick, I'm telling you. Because Salah has been benched in this one. Salah has been benched in the first one, but if Salah comes and plays against Luton, they're all over the place, guys, and Salah can easily haul in this one. So anybody who's carrying Mo Salah in his team, you might be disappointed to see him benched, but I think it's for the best. He comes on, plays 20 minutes, gains match sharpness, and then after that, absolutely, just goes for it, and against Luton and starts him. So 4-1 says Todd. 4-0 says Lightrace, 3-0 says George, Salah mega haul possible, 4-0 Jota hat-trick. That would be nice, innit? I just hope Darwin doesn't do anything because I don't have Darwin. I'm really scared. It's really scared of him because the way he plays, one day he's gonna get this 25-30 point haul, I'm telling you. I hope it's not in this game though. I just hope it's not in this game. I'm absolutely scared of not owning Darwin Núñez, even more than not owning KDB, because Darwin Núñez, the way he plays, he hits the post, he hits his shots over the bar, he misses one-on-one chances. One day all these chances are going to go in, guys, and you're going to see a mega monster haul from Darwin Núñez, and that will be the day when I don't own him. Kelleher and Bradley start, says Lightrace. I guess that was expected. We already, I guess, could have expect that. Right, let's see. Yeah. I can't see. There you go. So it's Kelleher, Bradley, Kanate, Van Dyke, Robertson, Jones, Endo, McAllister, Diaz, Jota, Nunes. Yeah, this was expected, to be honest with you. There's no changes from which we expected. All right, guys. So with that, we come to an end of these predictions. I hope you had a nice time. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I hope you have a great double Game Week 25. And I will see you for Game Week 26 stream. We had your favorite tasty butter chicken at our local Indian restaurant last night. Wow, man. Absolutely love that. Actually, that's one of the most common and the most favorite things of our, the North Indians especially to eat. Um, so, yeah, I mean, I had that as well yesterday, and I'm planning to have that today as well. Just hoping that I can celebrate and not cry with that. So, hoping for a mega haul. What do you think of replacing the triple captain with a dual captain so the vice captain points are doubled instead? Yeah, we've had a discussion about that previously as well on Twitter, a long thread as well. But I guess these FPL towers, they don't want to change anything at all. If at all they want to change anything, they just want everything to be the same, and they just, they don't even change their hamsters. They're getting older every year, my friend. But I guess that is a discussion that we'll have at a later time. Till then, guys, I hope you have a great double game week, and I will see you in Game Week 26. FPL Visit signing out. Take care, guys, and may the arrows be green. Bye-bye.